This podcast is part of the Famous Original Podcast Network family. You can find us by going to www.fopnet.biz.
All over. It contains strong language, strong opinions, and strong beers. It is not meant for children or for those who think they are children. You know who you are.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Welcome to the first take of episode 103 of Dumb All Over. Recording from, is that a prehistoric ice age? No, it's Pennsylvania. And the not-so-secret lair of New York. This is a progressive podcast with brash opinions on politics, religion, and pop culture. On this week's episode, we will discuss the lovely Virginia governor known as Ralph Northam, a new Bernie bill, Michael Moore on AOC, not on top, that would be bad, and Howard Schultz. We then bring back Twitter time and answer your very deep and thought-provoking questions. And Gary Johnson is still missing because of a missing file. So no Gary Johnson. We don't know what happened to old Gary.
And where's the file? Where is it?
I might be in Aleppo. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn, I'll never find it.
As always, I'm Tom. Joined about 200 miles away from me to my northwest, east, northeast.
That's how it works.
Is Austin.
Oh, hey, Tom. Master of Geography.
This is going so great.
So great. The Master of Geography. I know where all the places are.
All the places. Like the capital of New York, which is wonderful. Clearly Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, New York.
Austin, you survived the Ice Age, I see.
I did.
Did you? Yeah.
I mean, I have to wear a hoodie in my room now, but I've survived the Ice Age.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think it's over. I think as we're recording this, it's now 31 degrees outside of my house.
Yeah, well,
it has not been over 3
Yeah.
or 1.
Yeah. I know, because when I come in here now, it's not, like, totally freezing.
Yeah.
And I can tell because my guitar stays in tune for once.
There you go.
That's how you can tell it's not so cold that just the mere touch of my hand throws everything out of tune.
It's weird because I picked up my guitar and I tuned it, and 5 minutes into playing, and it's completely out of tune because my house is just so fucking cold, and I had the heat on and everything.
It doesn't matter,
but it was so cold.
It was so cold, yeah, it just can't handle.
And to think that we didn't even get nearly the coldest temperatures. There were places in the Midwest that were with the wind chill -30s. Like that's
why I didn't go online and complain about it, because I'm like, there are places where it's literally like frozen solid, and like Chicago, they did an aerial view, and it looked like it was just like you could see a frozen city. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Oh my god!
And then when I looked really close, I could see Tom and Cecil frozen in the recording studio.
Yeah. Stuck in the glory hole.
That should be the name of a document. Oh, let's do a documentary series about that.
Stuck in the glory Stuck in the glory hole. The document or the story of Tom and Cecil.
And they would be like,
Netflix.
They'd be like, that's not a problem we have.
Although if our history proves us Netflix won't even respond to our email, so
whatever. We can put that on YouTube.
No, good. But yeah, no, it's actually kind of nice out finally, and
it's supposed to get warmer actually.
Yeah, like 50s. But there's no climate change or anything like that. All we had, this is what happens every year.
Look, it's very normal to go from temperatures of like 60 to -10, and then back to 40.
Right, and it's also very. It's also very, very common for the polar vortex to leave the polar regions of this country. You know why it's called the polar vortex, and come to Kansas. Now, that's what happens every... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, because the climate's changing? Oh. Oh. I was
Look, I'm not worried about the cold. I'm worried about the polar bears escaping now that the vortex isn't keeping them in place.
Yeah.
We very much need the polar bear vortex to get back. We should build a wall.
Polar bear vortex, yeah.
Keep the polar vortex out.
You would want a polar bear vortex, wouldn't you?
I don't think that joke works on this show.
No, it doesn't. I'm going to build a wall to keep the bears from being bears in our country. It's going to be an ice wall. It's going to be made out of ice.
What happens in the summer, Mr. President?
There is no summer. In
Not
Antarctica.
anymore.
In Antarctica. Yeah, I am making sure that there is no summer.
Executive order, no more summers.
I told you I would run and make this country white again. I meant snow.
Boy, if he did have an executive order getting rid of summer, that would be the end of any school children being a fan of his.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean you're taking away summer?
Yeah.
That's when I don't have to go to school.
Just school children? Because I'm pretty sure everyone.
There's some people who don't like the summer.
Yeah, and those people are the ones that we consider outcasts, and we kick them out of modern society, and they live in a cabin inside the woods.
No, usually they're people who have to work in a suit and tie and have to walk to work.
Yeah, well, those people can suck.
It's a bigger problem
nut.
in the city, I think, than in other places.
Yeah, I haven't seen somebody walk around in a suit and tie here in my entire life. So I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen people wear T-shirts that look like they're wearing a tie.
Yeah. Well, it's also a problem when the subway is not air conditioned.
What's a subway? Anyway.
You hear that, Cuomo?
We have some interesting stories to get to, so I don't think we should waste any more time.
Probably true.
Yeah, so let's enter the Trump report.
Fine.
Have I done a good job? Have I done a good job?
Not at all. Probably the least of anybody you've ever met.
There's nobody that understands the horror better than me.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
And how are we going to start the Trump report? With a classic dumb-all-over non-Trump story.
The old switcheroo.
The old switcheroo. This one involves a racist. It involves...
I thought you said this wasn't a Trump story.
It involves a politician, but it does not involve Donald Trump.
I don't understand where this is going.
Although it could. And I'll explain my theory next.
Okay.
This one comes from Politico. I do not like Politico, but this article was actually pretty well done. Democratic presidential candidates urge Northam to resign.
Wait,
What? A Democratic presidential?
What?
But he just said racists and then... What? Yeah, no, it happens, by the way. Far too often. Again, as we've both said many, many times, doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. That's just a name. It's about policy. It's about the person.
What are these things, Tom? Policy and person?
Know.
No.
So weird, right? I only imagine if there just wasn't political parties and we just voted on people's platforms.
I don't even know why I'm listening to you. You're not even a Democrat.
You know, I am, technically.
You recognized by the Democratic Party of Pennsylvania?
I am. I have to be. I have to be. And the state's still closed. It's a closed primary, so I have to be a Republican or a Democrat, and I'm certainly not a Republican. Or I can vote. I can stay independent, but I can only vote for independent candidates. And
well, that would be fun.
No,
you could vote for the guy with the shoe on his head.
Oh, Vermin Supreme. Yeah. About that.
Still would have been
that's
a better
only for the
president
primaries, by the
Trump.
way. It's not for the general election, but yeah, about that. Okay, so this is interesting, and there's a couple of news stories from today. We record on Saturday that play into this. So, a host of current and likely Democratic presidential candidates called on Ralph Northam to resign Friday following a report that showed the Virginia governor appearing in a racist yearbook picture. Now, when I first saw the story, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't know if that meant he was in it or if it was in his yearbook and he's just associated with that because he's in the yearbook, but it's actually on his yearbook page. Like his name appears on the top. He has 2 pages, a left and a right page, and there's a couple pages scattered. And of course, on the right page, I'm not joking, is a picture of 2 men, presumably men, because they're covered in
we don't want to
assume
their gender.
No.
We'll just assume they're racist.
I'm assuming they're men. Yeah. One is in full blackface, and I say full blackface because I'm pretty sure like every exposed part of the body was all black, dark charcoal black.
Jesus Christ!
And right next to him was somebody in a KKK outfit.
Oh my God!
Yeah, on his Facebook page from college.
Facebook page from college.
Facebook page, yearbook page.
I was going to say, when did he go to college? Was it just recently?
Yearbook, Facebook.
Now, hold on. There, before you get on with the story, can we just point out how fucked up it is that the yearbook allowed
that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first thing that came to my head. I'm like, wait a second. Wait, we weren't allowed to even say the word shit in our yearbook. I know that for a fact.
Backpacks. But I never tried blackface.
Yeah, we didn't try blackface. Oh, I guess that's the line. Backpacks. But I remember
no hoodies or backpacks. Blackface.
In my quote, what was the quote that I originally gave the person who came around? I said, fuck this shit, or something like that. It was something really stupid and short. I was like, fuck this shit or fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we're not going to be able to put that in the yearbook. And I remember being like, oh, whatever, I understand that. But now seeing this, I'm like, bitch, put my quote in the yearbook.
Okay, here's another interesting thing. So, during our senior year at the undisclosed high school, which we won't talk about, they changed the dress policy.
They did.
Now, we weren't affected.
No, yeah, they changed it
for
the
next year.
Yeah.
For everybody, too, by the way.
Right.
So people who are going to be seniors next year all of a sudden would have to wear uniforms.
Well, first of all, can I add to that?
Sure.
Because we fucked up a couple things for the following grades. Because we also...
but that wasn't us. That was the seniors before us.
Pennsylvania was testing... they were actually testing to see where students stood on science. For our standardized testing.
Not good.
But they made the biggest mistake by telling us that it wouldn't affect our grade. So we didn't get affected. So literally we were broken up into like by last name. So my entire class was all M's. And I'm sitting in class with all these people that I've grown up with my entire life, and one of them stands up and says, "This doesn't count. Let's just get over so we can get on with our day." So we all agreed to just do ACDC the entire way through the test.
Really?
And then when the test results came back and it showed our school got like a 20% average, the next year, guess what was required? So not only did we ruin their dress code, we also ruined their standardized testing. But
I don't think we actually ruined their dress code. I think that was the class before us. But
I think it was also a superintendent change, but anyway, go ahead.
So the point I made at the time was that the school district claimed that this was all gang related. There were no gangs there, we'll put it that way.
There were no gangs there.
But I told the friends of mine that were juniors that were going to be seniors the year after when it took effect, you guys should form a gang of people in polos and khakis. Because if you did that, then they would have to change the dress code. Little did I know that would actually happen.
Right. Yeah.
When this president got elected. And now the new racist uniform is a white polo and khakis.
Right.
And a red stupid fucking hat.
Yeah.
But anyway, see how I made the non-Trump story about Trump?
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
That's
there's also notable things that we could tie Trump to this story. But
I also have to. There's an old saying my family has: once you go blackface, you don't get to be governor.
That's a good saying.
I think so.
That's a good saying. Yeah. That's a good saying. So let me finish this because then there's a new story that developed that plays into what you actually just said.
Okay.
But former Housing and Urban Secretary Julian Castro, who was the first to urge Northam to resign, is running for president.
Also
said it doesn't.
Also running for president, but you said
yeah. He said it doesn't matter if he's Republican or a Democrat. Castro tweeted, this behavior was racist and unconscionable. Governor Northam should resign.
By the way, can we see the difference here between the Republicans and Democrats? I want to point this out. For people who, and a lot of times correctly point out that they share a lot of common big money interests, there are places that are gigantically different.
And this is always one of them.
Because there's one picture from somebody's
Yeah.
high school yearbook.
Yeah.
And they're
that's
demanding that the governor resign. Meanwhile,
Well-
Steve King, I'm pretty sure, just met with David Duke yesterday for lunch.
Yeah, I know.
He's still in office.
They exchange hoods. But,
Well, Steve King is getting a little chunky, so.
go back to Al Franken, right? Al Franken is a prime example.
Yeah.
The one picture came out, which it was, it was a bad picture.
It was bad.
It wasn't this bad.
No.
By the way. But somebody accused him of sexual harassment or some sort of sexual advancement.
Yep.
I think another one came out after. It didn't matter how many people came to his defense, Democrats across the board, although that was a little bit more divided.
Yeah.
But most Democrats came out and said, "No, sorry, man. You fucked up.
Yeah,
You're out."
yeah.
Meanwhile, the Republicans almost elected an actual pedophile to Alabama's to our
Yes.
U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a huge difference. Like, listen, and some of the candidates that I'm gonna talk about in this article, we don't support. We don't support.
No.
But it still shows exactly the point you just made. Let's see. That's more from Castro. You already know his stance on it. Cory Booker, who
Newly
just
announced
recently announced that he will be running for president as well.
Whoa, book it
Said that
2020.
he should resign. Yeah. Kamala Harris said the stain of racism should have no place in the halls of government. And
What?
And I know. And that was like a direct attack to Trump too, I think.
Excuse me?
And she said that he should
Can I
resign.
evict her?
Elizabeth Warren and Gillibrand also followed by saying these are deeply disturbing and that he needs to resign. Sherrod Brown, Bernie Sanders, John Delaney.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit of a, like all the people who are running for president, but
You got to get the statement out. No, I don't blame him.
Everyone's calling for his resignation. Actually, currently, and I have this open for a reason, currently on Twitter at the moment of us recording, the tweets that are trending or the topics that are trending are Northam should resign, hashtag Northam must resign, and then another one right under here, Northam resign, and then followed by Groundhog Day.
So he should resign again.
Priorities, America. And there's another one that says Phil. By the way,
That's
in a non-related subject, Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow, so apparently spring's coming early. I think that's what that means. So, anyway, moving on.
I don't even have a joke for that. Okay.
There is no joke. The joke is that we still do this. That's the joke.
Or that
That's the joke.
you just say, I'm always coming early. I don't see what the big deal is. By the way, New York City, you need to rename your bars because some of them just have horrible names.
That's a very different story.
I'm not going to go to Club Coming because it just sounds sticky.
Which that's a bad name. It's a bad name.
Yeah, or cock.
Yeah, so everybody's calling for Northam to resign.
Yeah.
Well, this morning I wake up, check my news, which is what I always do every day of my life.
That's why you're so depressed.
I know. And this article from the Daily Beast says Dems Ralph Northam won't resign after racist photo. Okay.
They said shocking no one.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to. And I do think he's going to still, by the way.
The pressure will become insurmountable.
Yeah. I don't think that he's going to... He'll say this now, and he'll try to fight it for a little bit, but there's something in this story that is a little bit interesting.
Oh,
so
okay.
he came out yesterday, and he said, I'm sorry. These pictures were very bad, and he did make an apology. He made a statement addressing the pictures in his yearbook.
Well...
Or not. Today happened. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam has told fellow Democrats in Virginia he will not resign from office after saying Friday he appeared in a racist 1984 photo showing people dressed in blackface and a Ku Klux Klan robe. Okay. But the key factor in that is he said he was in the picture. The Virginia Democratic Party said on Twitter, Northam on Friday said he was in the photo, though he did not specify which person. He wouldn't say that. And he apologized for it. Now, the governor is reportedly saying he does not believe he was in the 1984 photo on his yearbook page from medical school, a Democrat told AP.
Oh, so it's from medical school. Wow, that's even worse.
Yeah. There's a quote.
It's not even just a high school kid being dumb. It's medical school.
That
means you've already gone through your undergraduate degree and you're in medical school.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That would be like you now being like dressing up in blackface.
It's pretty much, yeah.
That's crazy.
Hold on.
Wow. And what med school is putting that in their yearbook?
Yeah, it wasn't even high school. It was med school. And there's a quote, and it says, this is, I guess, his quote, because it's his page, right?
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
It is, yeah.
It says, there are more old drunks than old doctors in this world, so I think I'll have another beer.
Oh, I see.
So he's Brett Kavanaugh of Virginia, is what you're telling me.
Maybe he was squee.
And his interests are pediatrics.
Where did Kavanaugh go to school?
Harvard?
No, but during that whole debacle, I thought that was in the Washington, Virginia, D.C. area.
Oh, I don't know. It might be. I don't remember. I don't care about him.
Maybe he was. Maybe he's one of the codename drinking buddies in Brett Kavanaugh's calendar.
Have you seen this picture, by the way?
The picture?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Hold on. I want you to at least get the reaction.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, he won't say which one he's in or which one is him.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to tell.
But, like, if he's... there's things I'm confused about, obviously. For one, the other three pictures that are on this page here are of him, clearly of him, in individual roles. But these are personal pictures, so the school doesn't have these. He gave them these pictures.
Yeah.
So he had to have given the editor of this yearbook that photo.
Yeah.
And they still went ahead and printed it. I don't understand any of this.
No. And I also don't get that means that he doesn't think it's him, but he thought there was a possibility that it could be.
Right.
So does he have like, oh no, that's not my blackface photo.
Yeah.
It's like I have that one somewhere else.
Wait, that was from Squeeze Party. Oh no, I wasn't. That wasn't me. I was still a white guy in that one.
No.
It's absolutely disgusting, and he should resign. There's no doubt in my mind that he should resign.
This is bullshit. I'm taking this to the Supreme Court. I know I'll have sympathetic ears there.
Yeah, no kidding. This is the one thing that they'll rule for Democrats for once. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, that's the story with Ralph Northam. By this time that we're recording, he's still governor of Virginia.
Unbelievable.
I don't think that's going to last long.
I hope not, for the love of God.
Well. It's also good to know, and I didn't catch this, but there was a quote put out by the Palmer Report, which, it's the Palmer Report.
Oh, that thing is garbage, but go ahead.
And during 2000, no, whenever Northam was elected.
All right, but can I say this? Like, anything you read from that garbage website, take with a gigantic grain of salt that could crush you if it were dropped on your head.
Well, this wasn't a report or anything. It was just a personal comment, and he attacked Bernie.
They're all personal comments on that stupid thing. But go ahead.
He attacked Bernie for not supporting Ralph Northam.
Oh yeah.
And then commented when Ralph Northam won by saying, "Oh well, I guess he didn't really need Bernie's support anyway. I don't know why he wouldn't support a progressive candidate like this."
That's gonna age so well.
It already has. It already has. Oh,
funny,
boy.
Bernie, the guy who's supposed to only support white racists, didn't support the guy with the blackface picture on his yearbook page.
He had to have known something. Maybe not known, but suspected. Like,
or
this guy's...
maybe it was just obvious that he wasn't progressive. Like it was to everybody else who knew.
Right. He still won, and he brought... It was like but it wasn't... It might not have been just because of him, because the whole state went blue that time around. So he might have just been in the right place at the right time.
He was.
So we'll see what happens with that. We'll keep you updated if anything changes.
I can guarantee you this, though. After this, I bet the next governor will be Republican because that's how this stupid country works.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see because it's very new. So the lieutenant governor is going to take over. And if the lieutenant governor kills it, then there's no reason why. Yeah, it's still very early on. Like,
could you imagine also if the lieutenant governor took over in Pennsylvania?
Well, so the thing is, like, I like Tom Wolfe, so like I'm okay with him staying. But if John Fetterman did,
I know, I just said that would be amazing. This guy who doesn't ever wear a suit and
wears a suit,
looks like a
literally
wrestler.
goes to bars, like all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Great.
It would be a new image for Pennsylvania, I think.
He's huge, too. Like, intimidating as fuck. Yeah. He's like, you will vote for me or I will crush you. Okay. Yeah, you got me. Let's move on to a little bit more of a cheery subject. Actually, I think all of the stories for the rest of the time are actually kind of cheery.
I don't think any of them involve me.
No, not really. Indirectly.
I'll give you one quick story about me. So this weekend, I've decided to pull out of something again. I wish I had thought about pulling out earlier. This is a new concept for me.
Go ahead. You want actually talk about that for real? Talk about that because I want to tell you how coincidental this is. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Trump has decided to pull out of the nuclear treaty we had with Russia.
Yeah. The one that Reagan actually made with Gorbachev. And it was like groundbreaking at the time because the Cold War kind of ended right there. Sort of. Not really, but sort of.
It did. Yeah, kind of.
It did. Yeah, not really because it's still kind of going on now. But
look, I cannot abide by a treaty that started with the words tear down this wall. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
In America, we build walls. We don't tear them down.
I know. The Republican idol tore down walls, and now the new Republican idol wants to build them.
I know. Isn't it amazing how full circle that party is?
So... this is going to sound crazy, but we're actually going to have a very special guest coming on, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
I'm so excited about that.
At my school, I went to a lecture, and the lecture was this.
How all fun stories start.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, that's who I am. I go to lectures. I can't help it.
That's okay. I'm going to play a story for the listeners later that's not going to start with a very exciting description, but I think you'll like it.
So I went to see Stephen Leper, or Leper. I'm going to have to ask him how to pronounce that exactly because he just called himself Steve the entire time, who's a former chairperson of the Hiroshima Peace Culture Foundation. He's been in and out of the UN for the last 15 years trying to talk about a nuclear-free world. And the headliner of this lecture was actually Amiko Okada, who's actually a survivor of the nuclear bombings in Hiroshima. And first of all, I have to say she didn't speak a bit of English. She had a translator. Actually, it was Stephen's his wife. It doesn't matter that I don't speak Japanese. I was in fucking tears as she was telling the story. It was it was so sad. You can hear the pain in her voice. And the story is crazy. And I'm hoping Steven will talk a little bit about that when he comes on. But I met up with him and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm on a podcast. It's not a huge podcast, but would that be something you'd be interested in coming on? He's like, absolutely. The day that he was given that lecture, at the end, they asked questions, and this one kid said, I'm reading an article about Trump pulling out of the nuclear agreement, and he had not heard this news yet. On the day he's at my college talking about nuclear-free world, and he mentioned that exact thing between Reagan and Gorbachev. That's the only reason why I knew it happened between Reagan and Gorbachev, because he told us about it. And 5 minutes later, he's finding out that it was just torn apart. It was a surreal moment.
I bet.
A fucking surreal moment. The whole audience just got super quiet and was like, wow. Oh God. And he was like, what? That happened just now? You could hear how angry he was. Yeah. And this wasn't even part of the plan of today's stories, but I'm super excited that he said yes to coming on the show. He's really excited to come on. Really interesting guy. His goal is to get 1 billion signatures so he can take it to the UN. And in less than a year, he has 10 million Japanese signatures.
Wow. That's a great start.
And now they're starting to spread throughout the world.
That's awesome.
And they're starting with the U.S. because the U.S. is a big part of this nuclear fucking problem. Yeah. So we're going to try to help spread the word, we're going to be pioneers of this, and we're going to try to push it and stuff like that. It's going to be cool. We're going to work out some stuff with them, I think. So I just want to mention that. That'll be happening in, hopefully, I'm going to try next week. We're going to see.
Okay.
Now I got more good news if you want.
Sure.
Bernie Sanders, at sanders.senate.gov, which I recommend if you don't already subscribe to the newsletter there, because they send you news that's happening with Bernie Sanders. And I got this in my email a couple days ago saying Sanders introduces a state tax reform to combat inequality. All right. So with this tax reform bill, which he is calling, listen, Bernie's great at a lot of things. Maybe naming bills is not one of them. For the 99.8% Act is what he's calling it. I know it's to the point, but it's just that good.
Well, at least it doesn't do the thing that other people do when they name bills where the bill does the opposite of the thing it says.
That's true. Like
the Patriot Act, which was actually the most anti-democratic thing that maybe ever. Well,
it didn't
maybe not
say
ever.
It's the Democratic Act. It's the Patriot Act.
I know,
you could
but
be
in
a patriot
in order to be a patriot, you'd have to follow the tenets of American society, and taking away personal privacy was not one of those.
It didn't say American patriot. You can be a patriot of a dictatorship. There were patriots in the Hitler regime. Plenty of them. Plenty of people who loved the Nazi regime.
Okay.
So you can be a patriot anywhere you want, Austin. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So
Tom's a Nazi, gotcha.
And this is why it's a bad name. The 99.8% Act bill would raise $2.2 trillion from the nation's 588 billionaires. In contrast, Senate Republican leadership proposed a bill this week that would repeal the estate tax for the richest 1,700 families in America.
Bernie,
which is probably the one that's going to pass.
Yeah. The fuck you doing over there, Bernie? Stop taxing them more.
So let me break. So instead of breaking it down to you from Bernie's website, and you can go to Bernie to sanders.senate.gov, and then go to his press or his newsroom, and then press releases, and it'll be there if you want the full article there.
Yeah, soon to be Sanders2020.com. Just saying.
Soon.
He should use the campaign slogan "Hindsight is 2020."
He totally should. It'd be so bad if he didn't. I don't know what it'll be. It'll probably be something. Feel the burn. Yeah. That's it.
Let's not make the same mistakes. Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, there you go. So, the Washington Post took the current law and Bernie's plan and showed the differences. All right, so I'll go over the richest names and the most familiar names here on this list. We'll start with our good buddy, Jeff Bezos.
Everybody's favorite.
Right? The current law, he has to pay $53 billion in taxes. Sanders' plan, he would have to pay $101 billion.
That would be amazing.
Bill Gates currently pays $38 billion in estate tax. Sanders' plan would bump him up to $74 billion.
Amazing.
Warren Buffett, whose current tax is $33 billion, would have to pay $64 billion. And Mark Zuckerberg, who's $22 billion current, would have to pay $41. So it's essentially almost doubling every one of these taxes. Now, that might sound like a lot of money, but it's still denting their fortunes.
Yeah, I know.
Like
they still have just a ton of money.
And this is.
And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, the estate tax only takes effect when the estate is transferred.
I believe so. Yeah.
So it's not even good because they'll be dead. So what difference does it make?
So let's see. The legislation also aims to crack down on loopholes that allow fortunes to be passed down with lower taxes, including by preventing wealthy families from avoiding certain taxes through annuity trusts. To prevent the new tax from hitting farmers, the Sanders plan would also allow farmers to reduce the value of their farms by $3 million, up from $1.1 million under the current law. The law would dramatically affect how much taxes the wealthiest Americans pay when they die. Under current law, Jeff Bezos' heirs would pay $52 billion. So that's what that number is, in estate tax upon his death, while Bill Gates would pay $38 billion. So that's what that is. I just didn't fully explain it, but yeah. So it's
that's what I mean.
essentially doubling that.
The thing is, this doesn't even take effect until after they're dead, so it will literally not affect them.
No. Sanders' plan would reverse a decades-long decline in estate taxes. It would levy a 45% estate tax on those with $3.5 million to $10 million, a 50% tax with those $10 million to $50 million, and a 55% tax from $50 million to $1 billion, and then 77% with more than $1 billion. It's a dramatic change from what it currently stands at.
Yeah.
A dramatic one.
Yep.
I do find it funny, though, that the GOP put out a law that's the exact opposite. It is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting thing. And this happened on January 31st. So the rumors are already out there that he's running for president. And then this comes out.
Yeah.
And his base, you and I and all the other progressives, feeding off of this. This is great. This is exactly what we hoped for. I'm not making $1 billion in my entire life. That's not for me. And it's funny, I saw this meme that was circulating around my Facebook page. It was of this really angry, I think a real what do they call those TV shows? I'm so old. I can't. The reality. Yeah, the Real Housewives. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. And she's just outraged. And the caption said, Republicans who make under $30,000 a year, when they find out the rich are being taxed. That's the face that they make. It's so fucking true. Like, the people who are complaining the loudest about this are the poorest people in America.
Yeah, I know.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It just shows you how they're fed. But anyway, there's that.
It's like, dude, you have the frame of a 1994 Grand Dam on your front lawn.
Right.
Like you live in a trailer. Relax, they're not going to tax you when
you
try to pass on your hubcaps to your kids or whatever.
Which is why I think that Trump is afraid of somebody like Bernie, because as dumb as some people are, when they see those kind of things, like, oh, well, yeah, he's a liberal, and I don't like the abortion thing and all that, but he's going to lower our taxes. That's a big thing for people. Mm-hmm. It's a big thing. Also, the people who are complaining about free health care are also a lot of them who are taking Medicare. Southerners, I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, Medicare is free health care, right? Mm-hmm. Stupid people, man.
Yeah, but I don't want it for everybody.
I know. All right, let's move on because we got a couple more. Bill Maher? You want to move on to a Bill Maher story?
We can go into a Bill Maher story. Sure, yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So you want to go first? Because you have one as well.
Actually, why don't you go first? Because I have to get this set up.
Okay. So this is just a short story, so set up quick. Bill Maher, for once, we're going to show a couple things that happened on his show or some things that he said that we are okay with. Bill Maher, gained a little bit of ground on for us, but not much. Bill Maher, America really does need to build a wall. But Tom, you just said this is a good thing. Well, Bill Maher agreed on Friday that America needs to build a wall. This is just funny, by the way. This is no policy or anything like that. But not the barrier that President Donald Trump is advocating on the U.S.-Mexico border. Yeah. Instead, the Real-Time host said the country should construct a seawall to combat climate change because the ice is melting and rising oceans are going to swallow Miami. Maher said to Senator Marco Rubio that in 20 years, you're going to be the senator from Atlantis. I love that quote.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic quote.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good, too. I was impressed when he said that.
What is it with Republicans and the environment, Maher asked. they never waver in their commitment to do nothing. Carbon is killing us. He added later. Mexicans are not.
It's true.
And it's good points. And I mainly just wanted to cover this little part because of the Marco Rubio quote. I thought that was great. Yeah. But something else apparently happened on Bill Maher's show that I was unaware of. You actually texted me this morning. Yeah. So what did happen?
Well, he had the mayor of my fair city, New York.
Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah. No, not Michael Bloomberg.
Rudy Giuliani.
No.
Who the fuck is the guy now? The mayor? Who's the mayor now?
Bill de Blasio.
Oh, the Italian who eats pizza with a fork and knife, like a real Italian. Interesting. Okay.
Well, to be fair, so does Donald Trump.
Well, that's unfortunate to hear because that's actually the way like Italians in Italy eat pizza.
Oh, is it? Fork and knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the way New Yorkers come.
New Yorkers, I know. They had to fold the fucking greasy thing.
You come to New York, you fold your fucking pizza, okay?
You fold your fucking pizza. It's droopy.
You shove in your face and you move the fuck on. We got shit to do.
And it's a fucking huge slice for $1.
Yeah, a $1 pizza right down by the Port Authority.
There you go, yeah. It's made with that New York City water. Yeah. You know, that's what some people believe New York pizza is so good is because of the city water.
Yeah, I know.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What's in the water then?
I don't know. Well, apparently water is important. Okay,
yeast?
So now you have me on a whole different topic.
What do they have yeast in the water? What the fuck's going on there in New York?
So here's the thing. Now, I do not
the rats. It's the rats.
The pizza rat in particular. I don't typically agree that Sam Adams beer is all that great. Okay. They think it's great though.
Who thinks it's great?
Sam Adams does. The company, not the person.
I would sure hope so. Yeah, not the person. Thanks for clarifying, Austin.
So, everybody knows that they're based in Boston, right?
I didn't, but okay.
Sam Adams is based in Boston.
Yeah. I went to the brewery. It's nice.
But most of their beer is not brewed there. As a matter of fact, almost none of it is.
I was going to say, because it wasn't a huge plant.
It's actually brewed in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
There's a gigantic warehouse where most of the Sam Adams beer comes from in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
I didn't know that.
Now, they think their beer tastes the way it does because of the Boston water. So what they do is they literally take the Allentown water, strip away everything so it's just H2O, and then add in what they think is in the Boston water.
What they think is in the Boston water?
Yeah. I guess they've done analysis. You know, you can analyze water.
Well, yeah, you totally can.
Yeah. And so they take the minerals out from the Allentown water and add in the minerals from the Boston water so that they get a consistent product.
So you're saying Pennsylvania water's inferior?
No, because on the other hand, Weyerbacher needs the Easton water to make their beer.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when they moved their warehouse across the street, they had to do the same process with the water because across the street was a different water system, I guess. Like a different company ran the water system. So they had to do the exact same thing to get the Easton water.
This is just funny to me that you're like a beer historian. Like,
I know.
Like they don't offer that class in my school for my history major, my history degree.
Anyway.
Not anyway. Go on with the Bill de Blasio story.
So Bill de Blasio was on Bill Maher's show.
Okay. And what happened?
And I was actually pretty impressed with his platform. So instead of telling you what it is, I'm just going to let him say it.
Go to Rabbit.
Are you there?
I'm at Rabbit.
All right, here we go.
Actually, the Democratic Party at its best.
I agree.
There's something good going on here. You know, when it was the power brokers deciding who had a shot and who didn't, that's when we should have been upset. This is actual open democracy. It's anyone's ballgame.
I know, but I'm not running for president. You might be. That's what I'm saying. For you, you got to ask yourself, what do I got that the rest of these people don't got?
He's a big guy.
What do you got that they don't have?
I'm not here to compare against others, but I'll say what I'm doing in my city because I think that's the important point. We believe in New York City that we have to be bold about progressive solutions, that we have to stop being apologetic. I'm actually quite sick of Democrats who are afraid to be Democrats, who are afraid to be bold and progressive.
Okay. So far, I was impressed, but I thought, that could just be rhetoric. Although, I mean, he did just basically pass universal health care in New York City.
Right. Yeah, we've been covering some of the things that he's been doing in New York.
And he's doing them because he is definitely running for president. That's why I hope he does, because he's going to have to continue to pass this good legislation to make it look like he's really progressive.
Right.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, specifically progressives, like to talk about the intent of laws.
Yeah. I was just actually leaning toward that.
Don't give a shit.
As long as they happen.
I don't. If they happen and they have the desired effect, I don't care why he passed them. I don't care if it's because he ran for president.
The only time I would care, right, is if he does this stuff in New York to show he's a progressive, which, you know, he might very well be. He could be a perfectly well-intentioned progressive for all that I know, except for the Amazon thing, which still boggles my mind. But
which might not happen, by the way. That deal is falling apart.
Good.
Yeah.
It needs to fall apart.
But it'll probably still happen. But it might not.
But here's the thing. If he wins, which he won't. He won't.
No.
But if he wins and he becomes president, now he doesn't have to appeal to anybody. He just won. He did what he had to do. So what's his real policy? Is it going to be the same, or is it not going to be the same? That's where I would be concerned. For now and for you in the city. But
here's where my personal selfishness takes over, because I'm in New York, so I don't give a fuck, because he would have already passed all that shit for me.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Good luck, rest of the country.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had more to say, so here we go.
I just realized our name on...
Last month, I said, let's stop waiting for the things we should get from Washington, like Medicare for all, single-payer health insurance. Let's stop waiting. Let's guarantee health care for every New Yorker. We're doing that now. Every New Yorker will have a right to health care.
But that's New York. You know, I mean, look at some of the red state Democrats who win. There's not many. People like Sherrod Brown, right? Amy Klobuchar, Claire McCaskill until recently. Joe Manchin in West Virginia. They wouldn't say something like that, I don't think, would they?
Maybe they wouldn't
have. Can this play all over the country? Doesn't the secret to winning for the Democrat is you have to, the progressives and the centrists, and you have to somehow convince both of them you're talking to both of them.
Okay, now this is where I was expecting to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah.
Because this is where most politicians fail. And their assessment, because they really are trying to appeal.
Yeah, and they would say yes to that question, which I think the question is, it's a fair question, because that's a question that gets asked a lot. So yeah,
well, especially coming from Bill Maher, who believes it. But
right, exactly.
Let's see what de Blasio says.
I think that is a conventional wisdom we were all taught, and I think it was a lie.
Wow.
The centrists got us nowhere. And by the way, when it comes to the 2020 Democratic nomination process, centrists need not apply, in my view.
Wow.
What?
The progressive wing is what's ascended right now for a reason. Because progressives provide an idea of the Democratic Party that's truly identifiable. The people will know. If you say we guarantee health care, if you say we're going to ensure that people have a living wage, we're going to address this madness of the 1% taking all the wealth and power for themselves. People know which side you're on. They can identify. The only reason Donald Trump had a chance in 2016 was that too many working Americans didn't know if Hillary Clinton was on their side. She tried to articulate a vision. I don't want to take that away from her. But people couldn't tell if she was a part of the elite that had caused their problems or if she was part of a process of change. What we have to do as Democrats is be so bold and so clear that it's unmistakable. Another example, in New York City, we are going to pass a law guaranteeing 2 weeks paid time off, 2 weeks paid vacation for every single working New Yorker.
Nice.
People need time for themselves and their families. Because people are working, they're working harder and harder. You see what's happening in our society. People are working harder and harder. They're getting less and less for it. We have to show people we're on their side and we're going to do something about it.
And this will, you think, change the view of people in the country at large about Democrats? Because...
And then Bill Maher tries it.
Yeah, Bill Maher beats Bill Maher. So yeah, okay, so halfway through that, I'm like, wait, this sounds like rhetoric from Bernie Sanders, like directly from his mouth.
I don't know.
He even went as far as to talk about the 1%, which I did not see coming at all in that conversation at all.
I know.
So that was pleasant. I'm confused.
Right. So it was impressive in a way that you didn't expect.
The way I've always viewed de Blasio is in the way like he's left of center, not even close to center, but he's not progressive. That's the way my brain's always viewed him. Now, I don't live in the city and I don't know shit about him. So seeing something like this is it's something.
Yeah.
The thing is, if he was really trying to coddle to centrists, he would not have said no.
Centrists need not apply.
Yeah. He literally said, no, I'm good. I'll win with just the progressives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's shocking.
Right?
That's shocking.
It's impressive. So
yeah. So you think he's going to run?
Absolutely. He wouldn't be doing any of this if he weren't.
What if he doesn't run?
Whatever. We got some good policy out of it. So.
I was going to say, like, how does that change? Like, I don't know what your current your opinion is on him, but how does that change if he decides, no, I'm not planning on running? I mean, he does look like he didn't steer away from that comment.
Well,
when Bill Maher said.
I didn't play the clip, but later he's explicitly asked by Bill Maher, "Are you going to run?" And he says, "I'm keeping that option available." So
he's running.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, is it a good idea for him to run? I don't even know. I don't even know where we stand. You think so?
Absolutely. For the city, it's going to be unbelievable.
Well, for the city, yeah, but I'm looking at large scale. Like, I'm happy that Cory Booker put his name into the presidential race, but not for the same reason, not for the reason that I'm going to vote for him, but because it divides the centrists between Harris and Booker a little bit more.
This won't divide anybody.
You don't think that's going to steal votes from Bernie?
Because it's like having, the original recipe and like a version of it.
True.
Like, we have the one that everybody wants where all the ideas came from anyway. So I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. It's just like Martin O'Malley didn't steal any votes from Hillary Clinton.
True. Yeah. So, and he was a centrist too. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you playing that. That was, gave me a different mindset on the man.
And I mean, by far, he's the best mayor New York City has had in decades.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, between Bloomberg and Giuliani, it was a shit show
which that takes up quite a bit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's a lot of time. Yeah, Giuliani was mayor before 9/11.
Because I believe it was 2 terms for Giuliani. Was it 3 for Bloomberg?
Yeah, Bloomberg found a way to get a 3rd term.
Because he's a billionaire. He just gets spending a lot of money.
I know. Well, he changed a law to something. I don't know.
Of course. As billionaires tend to do.
Yeah. We're going to skip the Howard Schultz stuff. So just in case you don't know, the former CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, is running for president.
And one thing that he's done is the thing he said he would do.
Right.
He want his entire platform, because he has no policy, by the way.
No policy
other than
all.
He doesn't want to tax the rich. That's his policy.
Right, and he hates Trump. Yeah. That's it.
He hates Trump. He doesn't want to tax the rich. And his policy is he wants to unite America. Yeah. And he has, because the poll numbers have come out.
So I have those numbers.
Okay, Tom, go for it.
According to this poll, this is from The Hill, by the way, 50% of Democrats said they view Schultz as unfavorable, while 43% of Republicans and 31% of independents responded the same. So, I mean, oddly enough, I think he's running as a Democrat.
He's running as an independent.
Yeah. But the Democrats are the ones that kind of like adopted him. He's not leaning to the Republican side.
He said he was a Democrat.
But Republicans like him more. Democrats hate him.
Well, because he said he wasn't going to tax the rich. That's Republican policy.
Yeah. But even with that said, 43% of Republicans came in and said they don't like him.
Well, he also doesn't like Trump, so.
Right. Yeah. And then 31% of independents, his own fucking party, which is not really a party, said they don't like him.
Yeah.
So those are the poll numbers right there.
So he has brought America together and hating him. So, well done, Schultz.
The poll also found, by the way, that Schultz, his name was less well known among respondents. 56% of people polled said they've never heard of him. So 56 said they don't know him, but 50% don't like him.
That's funny. So
that was it for that. And just to add another name to that, we already mentioned Cory Booker's name. So those are the 2 add-ons into the election.
But like we said, so we're not going to. That we're just going to mention when they join. I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah.
And if there's any major news situations. And then one very quick story to end it. I know we've had a lot of stories, but Michael Moore suggests the Democrat who could crush Donald.
Oh, speaking so difficult. Okay, you can do this, Tom.
And I spit the bad words out. Michael Moore suggests the Democrat who'd crush Donald Trump if she were old enough. Now, who could that be? Who do you think Michael Moore, the director of documentaries such as Fahrenheit 9/11, Fahrenheit 11/9, just to name two,
with almost the same name,
almost the exact same name?
I imagine he's talking about AOC.
He's talking about AOC.
Yeah.
Michael Moore lamented the constitutional rule that sets a minimum age of 35 to be president on Fridays, broadcast by NBC's The Last Word. The documentary filmmaker said it was too bad because otherwise Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would have been able to throw her hat into the ring. Mm-hmm. And he believes would crush Donald Trump in the presidential race. Of course she would. She's a leader. Everyone knows it. Everyone feels it. She's a leader of this mass movement.
And she drives the right crazy. And that motivates the left.
And I got to tell you
just the way that Trump driving the left crazy motivates the right.
And Michael Moore, who I've always loved Michael Moore. I know you've been iffy at times with Michael Moore, but I think you generally like him, right?
Yeah.
He accurately predicted the election before anyone else.
No.
Like a year before, he said Donald Trump. He went on MSNBC's. What's the young progressive's name? Or the young sort of progressive name? What's his name? The one Sam Cedar goes on all the time. Chris Hayes?
Chris Hayes.
No.
Yep.
Chris Hayes.
That's right.
He went on that show, I believe, and he predicted like a year before. He said, Trump will win this presidency.
Well, to be fair.
And he laid out why.
Right around, actually might have even been before he did that, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks went on CNN and said the same thing, that he thought Trump would win.
Right. Yeah.
And he predicted, and this is the eerie part, he predicted because he would win Ohio and Pennsylvania.
There you go. And apparently Wisconsin and Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. I don't even think he saw the Democrats losing Michigan. That was that's
a tough one. That was a tough one.
That was tough.
But and that's literally the article, by the way. That's all. And there's a clip we could play, but it's no big deal. I just wanted to add that in because it just goes to show you that AOC is really making a statement. You would think the way we talk about her and the way that people either love or hate her, that she's been a congresswoman for 30 years. It's been a month.
Yeah, I was going to say it's just been a couple of weeks.
literally a month, not counting the election cycle. Yeah. She's only been in office since the beginning of January. No, middle January.
Yeah.
And she's done all of this.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Did you have a clip?
I did. So this is of AOC, but it has nothing to do with Michael Moore.
Okay.
She went on the Intercepts podcast and told a story about how she got on the committees that she's on.
Ooh, I haven't heard this yet. So
that sounds incredibly boring, like a congressperson telling you about how they get on committees, but AOC makes it very exciting. So I'll play that clip.
Let's take a listen.
And just give me a second, because this might take a second.
Hurry up. Losing interest.
25. That's okay. I can always just cut out excess. All right, so here we go.
Industry it regulates, the more money you're expected to be able to raise, and therefore you have to ante up. And this is not kind of a theoretical thing. They put a price on this stuff, and they call it dues. Right. And you turn this money over to the DCCC.
Yeah, I remember in kind of expressing interest in which committees I wanted. First, very early after I won my primary, there was a lot of outreach from incumbent Democrats, and the one question that everyone kept asking was, what committee do you want to be on? What committee do you want to be on? And I literally had just gotten elected, and I'm like, I don't know, what committees are there? There's and they do change in name from one administration, one majority to another, and everyone was so immediate in that one question. Not how are you doing? How are you coping? Right. Hey, you came out of nowhere. It was, what committee do you want to be on? And I remember thinking, wow, why is this the question? And I spent one day in D.C. and I met with some folks, and it wasn't until like the very end of the day that I was told, well, if you want a good committee, you got to raise funds. And I remember saying, well, and I was like, because at that time I had raised funds for other progressive candidates. I had driven folks to their donation links and things like that. And so by that time we had raised over, I think $50,000 or $100,000 for other progressive non-corporate funded campaigns. And I was like, oh, but I am raising funds. And they're like, oh, no, to the D-Trip. And I was like, oh, but I had just gone through this year where at the time the D-Trip had gone against other progressive candidates. And I was like, okay, well, I remember leading that and I'm like, well, I'm going to get put on some terrible committee. And so, election time comes and we're just getting our committee assignments this week. So it's January, of the new term. But we've basically spent the last 3 months since Election Day lobbying. And it's this very opaque process. No one gives you a sheet of paper and says, like, this is how you get on a committee. And so a lot of freshmen are just kind of babes in the woods, like, how do I do this? And you just talk to a lot of people. But one of the interesting developments on financial services is because we were asking to be put on an exclusive committee, and financial services is an exclusive committee. And for a freshman, that does not normally happen. And then we started feeling like suddenly this request was being made, was much more, we're feeling much more reception to this request than we had anticipated. We're like, what's going on? And I had sat down with Chairman Waters. I had spoken with a lot of other members, and it seems like we're in this very interesting moment where after the financial crisis, all these activists and advocates really started zeroing in on the Financial Services Committee. And because its members were getting so much more scrutiny than they had in the past, it no longer became the same kind of fundraising committee because those members were getting targeted a lot. And so as a result, a lot of these even incumbent members that were on it have left the committee to go to other money committees. And so it's opened up this huge window. And so this year, the Financial Services Committee has actually been staffed with a lot of progressives on it to kind of occupy that space. And in fact, frontline members it's seen as too difficult of an assignment. Like on judiciary, you'll have too many tough votes. So a lot of frontline members aren't on financial services. Some still are, but it's an interesting, I think, like sea change.
Yeah, I think it's changed dramatically from when I was appointed to the committee, and I was appointed as a first-term member.
But anyway, so that's how she got on the committee.
Yeah, wow, that's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty amazing.
I know, and it's amazing because other politicians didn't want to deal with the scrutiny of where their donations came from.
It's amazing too because it just like shows you exactly what kind of person she is. She's like, oh, there's scrutiny. I'll take it.
Yeah, and that she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
No.
Scrutinize me, sure, go for it.
No. Yeah, she also was dealing with a bunch of hate phone calls being left on her office voicemail, and the way she dealt with this, she's like, well, if you guys think that you can call and it's anonymous, well, good luck. Or she said enjoy. I think she said enjoy because she's rerouting those to the local police department, the FBI field office there. So it's not anonymous with them.
No. And that was a response to a conservative congressperson tweeting at a young progressive congressperson who is Muslim about, I guess the conservative was Jewish and had gotten some kind of hate voicemail from an anti-Semite.
And she's like, yeah, I was too, by the way.
And she's trying to say, these are your people. Like, he has no idea that that's her people. But
no.
And she's like, well, I get a lot of hate voicemails too. And AOC was just saying, so do I. And, so it was a whole thing that started, with an idiot on the right. And
by the way, if you don't think YouTube is listening in on our conversation, what's the next video that's scheduled to play?
I have no idea.
It says billionaire activist. AOC is the centrist, not Howard Schultz. No, up at the very top. Yeah. That's the next video that's going to play after this.
Yeah. It's true. She is the centrist. Globally. Yeah. Like when we talk about global politics, AOC is a centrist, and Bernie's even more center. So,
Well, that's enough. That's enough for the news. A Trump-free Trump report. It's weird.
God damn it! This has my name on it, like so many things that fail.
Like so many things.
And you failed to have me on my own report.
We did, but hey, whatever. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will have the Twitter time. It's the Twitter time, I guess.
The Twitter time. That's how you know we're getting old.
Yeah.
It's the Twitter time now.
When I'm starting to save the...
It used to just be Twitter time, and now it's the Twitter time.
Welcome back to the Dowcast, everybody. It's been a while since I said that. God, it's built up. It's built up like a load of laundry.
I have to say though, it's been a while since Don't do it, goddamn you, Tom.
What?
You're about to sing. Not gonna let you do it. But
no.
But I haven't seen Peter Dow post anything ridiculous in a while.
Been a while.
That's okay. Unlike when we stream, I can actually just cut that out. So,
well, since Peter Dow, what?
Posted anything that seemed ridiculous, but I haven't seen him post anything in a while. So there must be other centrists that are getting on the nerves of progressives, because I haven't seen Peter Dow retweet like it used to be when I check our timeline.
No,
just like people dunking on Peter Dow.
Yeah,
So I haven't seen him in a while.
He's almost a non-factor. Yeah. Hey, Austin. Listen, buddy, you knew it was going to come back eventually. You knew I couldn't be lazy for the entire year. It was about to come back. You started it. You're the one that posted the question thing. This is your fault. You beat me to it. So how about we just get it over with?
Okay.
You know what time it is?
No, Tom, what time is it?
How do you not know what time it is? I mean, it's part of... Don't you read the fucking show notes? We discussed this at the beginning of the episode. I don't understand.
I'm sorry, that's the funniest,
do you want me to
funniest thing you've ever said is that we're show notes.
My show notes are on Notepad, and it's just the intro. It's the show notes. Anyway, it's Twitter time! Our first official poll of 2019. I forgot for a second.
Forgot what year it was.
I forgot.
All this 2020 talk really throws you off.
Oh, yeah, it really did. Actually, you put one poll. Let me get that poll up first. How many times will Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders lie this week? 4 options: 1 to 15, 20 to 40, 50 to 100, or way more than those. And the winner was way more than those. The poll didn't get as much traction, but I thought it was funny.
That's because I mistakenly only left it up for a day.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I left mine up for the entire week and didn't get that much more, so don't worry.
Okay, go for
it. Second poll. Which of these people who have not announced their run for president in 2020 should? Okay. Yeah. All right. Not bad, right?
Not bad.
4 options. One of them already announced. So he kind of fucked up my poll. Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden.
No.
Cory Booker, who
already announced.
But it had 0% of the vote. So thankfully, it's like we just eliminate him. And then Bernie Sanders.
No, of course.
Now let me go on record and say that most of our followers are going to lean one way. Now they do tend to lean another way. And sometimes even another way.
So you're saying that the poll was rigged?
Sort of.
This poll, much like the election, was rigged.
I won't say it was rigged. Like, I didn't go in and change the numbers. You can't do that yet.
It was rigged.
Get on
totally rigged.
But
totally
the
rigged.
winner was Joe Biden. I just want to see your reaction. You were about to be like, listen, and then you just made this like you just watched someone die.
Oh, or that he touched me weird. Like he touches a lot of people weird.
Yeah, like let's be careful. He doesn't touch people. He touches little girls. Like not like sexually, but like just like a creepy old man.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Joe, you're not even doing it right.
Yeah, no, you got to go under the skirt.
Got to grab him by the pussy.
The winner was Bernie Sanders.
Oh yeah, how was it?
With 61% of the vote.
Oh yeah.
So just because this is scientific evidence that if Bernie ran against Clinton, it should have won 61-26. And Joe Biden is our Martin O'Malley with 13%. See, Bernie over Clinton. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, it's a rigged poll. I knew it was going to end up like that.
Rigged.
Just that'd be funny. All right, are you ready for some of the greatest questions ever asked in the world?
Sure.
All right. You sure? Because they're weird.
No, I've been asked weird questions this week, so I'm ready for it.
Okay. First one comes from the Secular Not As Good As Dumb All Over Soup podcast at Secular Not As Good As Dumb All Over Soup on Twitter. Which one of you do you think would win in a fist fight? Now, before we answer, a mutual friend of ours, Joe, Soda Wada 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 33, said if he was a gambling man, Austin for $50? Joe.
Oh, I got $50 on me already. That's a lot of pressure.
I responded as classy as possible by posting a picture of Trump looking into a microphone.
Oh, very
saying,
classy, Tom.
And he responded with Sheldon Cooper saying, "You know I'm right." And then Propaganda Steven said, "That's not their type of fisting." And then Secular Soup said, "As far as you know." So that thread was really weird. That thread was really weird. Okay, so who would win in a fist fight?
Who would win in a fist fight? Well, seeing as only one of us has been in a fist fight and won, I think it would be me.
Yeah, just because I've never been in a fist fight doesn't mean that I wouldn't kick your ass.
You wouldn't?
I would kick your ass.
Not even close.
You know why?
Why?
Because I'm Italian, all right? And let me tell you something, all right? I don't know why all of a sudden Joe Pesci came at me, but anytime somebody gets into a fight with an Italian, do you know who wins? The Italian. You know what happens to the loser? No one does because he's dead.
You say that, and I would still win.
Yeah.
I would.
Please. Yeah. I'll tell you this.
Need to watch West Side Story.
My grandfather one time, I was like, I forgot what I was doing. I was just annoying the crap out of him. And then I pretended to like stand up to him. This is when I was a kid, and I pretended to stand up like I was about to fight. And he was sitting on his couch, just like he's a big fat guy, just sitting on his couch, literally drinking wine with a fucking bread roll next to him, and he's eating. And he looks at me. He says in the most broken accent, it's like, "Go ahead, hit me. I'll give you one free shot, but you better kill me because when I get up, you're dead." I was like,
and I bet
good.
you believed him.
Oh, I was done. Yeah, I was done. The chest hair and the bling was showing. I was done.
Yikes.
And then the fact that he hung out with John Gotti in the 80s, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, though. I am, as I mentioned on a live stream, I am a pacifist. I'd never fought before. I've been in fights.
So you would lose by default.
I've been in fights where like people fucking attack me for no reason, and I went over this on stream, but
for no reason.
No, literally no reason.
Literally
no reason. Like we're playing dodgeball after school, and a kid gets hit in the face on my team. I have a dodgeball in my hand,
so it clearly wasn't you.
And he somehow put it together, like, oh, that was him. Because I think we had an argument in class that day or something.
Gotcha.
And he knocked me over, took my glasses off my face, rolled them across. Thank you for doing that, by the way, Jason.
Well, that's actually kind of nice that he took them off. He could have just broken them.
He could have.
That would have been annoying.
I got 1 day detention for that.
Did you?
He got like 2 weeks in-school suspension or something like that.
That's why you got to fight off school campus, stupid.
Yeah. Well, nowadays at our school, like if you get into a fight, the police get involved instantly, no matter what, even if it's just a basic brawl. And you're talking about fines and stuff like that, which did not happen back then. But yeah, I don't know. I'd still win.
You would not. You're pacifist. You can't win.
I would win.
Because you wouldn't fight back.
Because I'm Italian. As soon as those Italian balls come out, you're dead.
Please. I would grab you and throw you out the window. And it would be easy.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a little heavy. Can you pick up 220 pounds? I don't think you can.
I have.
All right. Well, maybe you win then. The next question comes from at MC Variety Hour. That's the Miles and Crawford show.
That's the one.
Do we blame Canada for the polar vortex?
Of course.
Yeah, fuck you, Canada. Are you serious?
South Park even wrote a song all about blaming Canada.
Oh my God. It's literally their fault.
Yeah,
it's literally from the polar areas of the world. And where's the polar area? This isn't a Glenn Beck conspiracy. It's from Canada.
But as you'll see on the chalkboard, it's Canada who's up here.
Yeah.
And
Hitler.
Canada has
and
in it, so it's Canada.
The polar vortex is a Nazi!
Yeah.
Made just as much sense as a Glenn Beck conspiracy.
Which is the only reason that it was led in the country.
Now for the serious answer?
Yeah.
No. It's called climate change.
Yeah. It's really our fault, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of. Let's see.
Well, partly Canada and the industrialized countries.
Yeah, everybody. How about everybody?
Everybody, yeah.
I won't blame,
we've broken the planet.
African countries.
Yeah, it's not.
There's certain African countries. There's certain Asian countries that still they're not fully industrialized. I can't really blame them.
No. I mean, you could say that if they were, they would, but they can't,
absolutely.
so
They're humans still.
Yeah.
Next one from my friend Jesse Hoffner at Jesse Hoffner. How much do you think the video of Bernie drinking shirtless with Soviets in 1988 will help improve his chances in 2020, assuming he runs? A lot or President Conrad Sanders?
I think they will give him a little bump because it is entertaining.
It's very entertaining. And when
I think
you learn...
it's going to have the same effect that the college dancing video of AOC had.
Well, all right, so a couple things. One, this video originally surfaced in 2016.
So this is already old news, yeah.
And the only reason why I found out about that is because when I did my own research, I had never seen that before. I never saw that in 2016. No. So when I was doing my own research, I found an article from Bloomberg.com. And Bloomberg.com...
Even then, Michael Bloomberg...
Yeah, talked about it, but when I read when the article was from, it was from 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So they already covered this during the 2016. There was even apparently a question asked about this in a couple town halls that I just somehow missed.
Yeah.
The story is not what Republicans are trying to twist anyway.
I don't think this is Republicans that are doing this.
Or centrist Democrats, yeah, which might actually be them for real. But I mean... Soviets in 1988. 88 is an important moment to realize in this story, because if you follow a little bit of Russian history, the communist regime of Stalin, well, there was a few in between, I believe, but ended, and then it ended with Gorbachev. Mm-hmm. Gorbachev came in, and he was not perfect by any means, but he opened up Russia to the world for the first time in a long fucking time.
Well, that was back when the U.S. was into tearing down walls rather than building them.
Right. And we talked about this earlier in the show. It was he and Reagan who got the nuclear arms deal that was just torn apart written down. The wall was broken down. Germany was reunited. Western culture was finally allowed back into Russia. Mm-hmm. That's how people found out about the Beatles and stuff. It was there. It leaked into Russia, but it wasn't allowed.
Boy, that would suck too. Well, I've actually experienced this, but it sucks to learn about and become a fan of the Beatles after John Lennon is already dead.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's a wild story, but because it's 1988, you have to remember it was a different Russia. And then after he gets kidnapped and a new regime takes over, then it becomes Russia that we know now.
Yep.
And eventually it's a Putin, but it's a different Russia in 1988. So for any progressives who are worried about that, it's so easily debunked. It's actually hilarious. So let the centrists run
all
with
of this was talked about in 2016.
It was, yeah.
Because they'd say, "Oh, he took his honeymoon to the USSR," but it really wasn't the USSR anymore. And it was only coincidence that it was it wasn't really his honeymoon. It's just that they were doing an exchange program.
Right.
The mayors of certain American cities would exchange with the mayors of or the leaders. I don't know if they were called mayors in Russian cities, and that's how
I think they were like province governors or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
know.
Yeah.
Something of that nature. Yeah. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And when I saw that, I was worried that is this bad? And then when I actually found out about it, now for the people who don't do the research in that, yeah, they might think it's bad, but
it's still pretty awesome. He's sitting there, drinking and singing. This is your land.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. And the other thing to take into factor is he's looked 90 since the fucking 70s.
Yeah, he's always been old.
That was 88, and he looks the exact same. His lens on his glasses is the only thing that changed.
Yep.
It's crazy. Next question from our good friend Stephen Prepaganda. If you two were presidential/vice presidential ticket, what would your slogan be?
I assume for this upcoming election.
Sure.
Might have to steal the one that I was going to give Bernie and say that hindsight is 20/20.
I say,
And who would be president? Who would be vice president? That's the question.
I don't know. What do you think?
You'd probably have to be run as the presidential candidate.
Why would I have to do that?
Because they always elect the white guy.
Maybe we change. How about we change up the status quo?
Yeah, and lose. Why? I'll just be a Dick Cheney vice president. I'll just actually do everything.
But don't you think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez can win?
Well, some people transcend with their amazing personality. I do not possess such a personality.
Especially when you talk like that. Conan fans will love you because they're going to think you're Schlansky.
Maybe.
What would our slogan be? From top to bottom, we are the choice.
That does not work for us.
How about we're barely lethal?
Oh, my God. I believe somebody already has that tagline.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I don't know. How about Feel the Dumb?
Maybe. I don't know. Look, can't get any worse.
We could just be dumb all over. How about that be our slogan? Yeah. It'll be advertisement for the podcast, and it'll be our slogan.
Be really condescending.
It's like, thank you all for your support. And remember, dumb all over.
No.
Like, wait, what? No. What did you just say?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, now you ready for the lightning round?
Oh, the lightning round.
This lightning round is
maybe
brought
just
to you
something
by...
simple like, America, we got your back.
Yeah.
Although,
we'll work on it.
I don't know if that would work for us because they might take that differently.
No. How about if you want to stick in like the simple round, we could just be like, well, we're obviously better.
Yeah.
All right, this lightning round is brought to you by Dr. Ninja Monkey.
Oh, boy.
That's right, the Dr. Ninja Monkey, now on sale for 75% off.
No.
First question, best pizza, because in parentheses, I'm currently hungry. Best pizza? Does he mean style or toppings?
Oh, I assumed he meant from a place.
Like an actual...
Like who makes the best pizza?
You see, I don't know. That's such an open-ended question. So let me start off with style. I like Neapolitan.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite. Or New York is a close second, even though I was shitting on it before. Toppings, I'm very plain. Maybe some like mushrooms and peppers and stuff like that. Maybe, but I'll take cheese pizzas all the time. And from place, are we just sticking with chains?
I don't know.
Because let's just stick to chains, I guess, just to make it easy. Because there's so many, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And this is a harder question now.
Well, I'm just saying. For me, it's like I like a lot of types of pizza. My favorite currently is Sicilian, but the way the Americans make it. I don't think I've had the Sicilian way.
There is no such thing in Italy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's no such thing as Sicilian pizza.
Look,
like
there's
that.
a lot of things that America made up and gave names of other places.
Meatballs is one that a lot of people think is an Italian food. It's not an Italian food. You go to Italy and you ask for a meatball, they're going to literally hit you. There's no such thing as a meatball.
Okay, fair enough.
It's an American Italian or Italian American thing.
And there's a place right in our neighborhood called Uncle Tony's that makes an amazing.
Of course, is an Uncle Tony's. There's like 4,000 Uncle Tony's in New York.
I know, but it's
like,
the
where
one.
you going, Uncle Tony's? Which one? The one in Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx?
It's the one uptown, and it's very good.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. And
I'll
don't
tell you
care.
the street, but I don't want people to know where I live. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a specific place, honestly, because the pizza that I've grown up around here is
It's
really
horrible.
not that good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it's really not good. I did go to, I think it's a chain, Grandma's. No, Brothers is a chain. I went to this place in Jersey. I
Oh, they
think.
make the grandma pie.
I think
right?
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
That's a New York, New Jersey thing.
It's
That
a
is
really
very good.
It was really
style.
good
Yeah.
because we all had dinner, so we got a pizza and we got entrees as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, man, that was one of the better Italian meals I've had. And it was so. I mean, it was just from a place. We're driving by. We're like, yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, that
it was
sounds
really
yeah.
really good. So I guess that I hate Sicilian pizza. It's my absolute least favorite pizza.
Don't like it?
I don't like the dough to the sauce and cheese ratio. I like thin crust stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've always have. If I have to extend and dislocate my jaw to eat something, I'm not into it. I only paying for pleasure.
See, I like
Unless
it
it's in
sometimes.
bed.
Oh,
Hey, get the whips out. What happened?
Wow. Okay. That's why he gets stuff from AdamandEve.com.
Don't ever talk about them on our show.
Trust me, if I equate you with them, nobody's going to buy there.
Adam.
I also haven't had a real Chicago deep dish pizza, but I'm curious to see what it tastes like.
I've had a PA version, which I'm not going to take. It wasn't bad, but I'm not going to say that that's Chicago style. And then the next question is best chain restaurant.
Best chain restaurant.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. This is going to maybe sound bad as an Italian. I love Carrabba's.
Really?
Yeah. Every time I've gone there, every time I've gone there, it's been at least the one that is close to us or me. It was always good. We always get like really good wine. The food is always cooked immaculately. It's very solid, and like the vibe of the place is really chill too.
Okay.
If not Carrabba's, I don't eat out very often. I really don't. It's
funny,
not my thing.
I do, but not at chain restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, chain restaurants. I don't know. I really don't like chain restaurants, to be honest.
I don't either. Like I've always.
I think, you know what? I'll give Red Robin a shout out because they have a good craft beer selection.
Okay.
But
I see. Like I don't like burgers.
Oh, I like burgers.
And now I'm a vegetarian, so like I can't go anywhere. But I never liked beef. I never liked burgers.
Well, I believe TGI Fridays now has the Impossible Burger, which is meatless, and it is very good.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I
try
like
it.
Chili's. I like Chili's too
Okay.
sometimes
Yeah.
'cause I like Mexican food.
I have to say I'm a fan of the bar at Applebee's because they have their like monthly discount cocktail. And we went and it was like, I think it was like $2 for a Captain Morgan and Coke.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, okay, I know what's going to happen here. They're going to pour you a glass of Coke and then just like dribble a little bit of rum.
Which is how they always do it.
No, double shot.
Nice.
There was more rum than Coke for $2.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck, this is awesome.
I went to an Outback Steakhouse once, and I remember liking it, but I only went once, so I don't know if that's accurate and if that's enough times.
Oh,
to,
yeah. My
to, like,
parents go there all the time.
I know that I don't like Red Lobster.
Oh,
I've always had a
hate
problem
Red
with
Lobster.
paying so much money to get 2 fucking pieces of shrimp on my plate,
Well,
and
yeah,
then it's not even that good.
They're a chain restaurant. They overcharge and their food's not very good. Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, never liked them.
And they really killed me too when I went to school in New England. So you could get real fresh lobster
Right.
and seafood
Yeah.
like for $8. And you're like, well, I could go to Red Lobster and spend like $50, and you get like
and get
a
nothing.
tiny lobster tail, and the waitress smacks you in the face with the menu. All right, was that
best-
just a dream I had?
Best ribs I ever had was from a Longhorn Steakhouse. I ordered
Really?
I ordered ribs, and I ordered like a bigger portion. I was going to take some home. I ended up eating them all there.
No, did
They
you?
were so fucking good.
See,
So good.
I've had Southern barbecue, in both Georgia and Florida that I think is better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I've actually never had a rack of ribs when I was living in South Carolina, but I used to get a lot of pulled pork. I bet it was good. Well, the pulled pork there was amazing.
I've never had the Texas version, which I've heard is better than the Southern. Okay. And I've never had the Kansas City version, which I heard is better than all of them.
I've heard that that's really good, yeah. But again, now I'll never know because I'm a vegetarian.
Yep.
And I'm happy about it. It's fun.
Nobody's trying to change your mind, Tom.
Oh, no. My mom is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she wants to keep cooking and she wants to give me food. And she's like, I'm not being a vegetarian just because you are. I'm like, okay.
Tell her to just make pasta. It's vegetarian.
I'm so tired of pasta, bro.
Okay, then don't.
So tired.
What about risotto? That's vegetarian. I like risotto.
I do too.
Mushroom risotto is one of my favorite things in the world.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Next question. Best dessert.
Oh, come on. Creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Yeah.
Creme brulee.
I like that or
and my creme brulee.
Oh man, I don't know. Yours is great. Listen, I've never had a creme brulee before going over your house, but I'll tell you ones that probably beat it for me: pecan pie,
okay,
and cheesecake.
I love both those things. I still like creme brulee more. Like basically, I'll tell you how much I love it. Is that creme brulee is not that easy to make. It involves several steps that are kind of annoying, actually.
Yeah, because pecan pie is easy to make.
I don't know if pecan. I know cheesecake isn't easy to make.
No, it's both of them are not.
Yeah, but I only learned how to make one. That's how much I like it. If I really liked the other ones as much, I would have learned to make those too, but I didn't.
I've never made any of those. I do like baking, but I've never made any of those because they're just too much. Like
that's what I mean. That's how much I loved it. That I spent a whole day learning how to make it. But it's pretty fucking good too, by the way.
I think the winner for me would be a pecan pie because like there's something about like that crunchiness, and then you cut into it, and it's just this gooey, sweet honey kind of flavor.
Oh, pecan pie is amazing. Yeah,
so good.
I have to give a shout out to pumpkin pie too. I know Tom hates it, but
I'm not a pumpkin pie fan. I like pumpkin stuff, but I'm not a pumpkin pie fan. I need to fucking mask it in whipped cream or something because it's.
I'm also a giant fan of the pumpkin scones that I learned how to make.
Okay,
but none of those are my recipes, so I won't take. Well, actually, the creme brulee is a little bit my recipe because I added some liquor to it that really makes it good. Yeah.
Okay. And the final question from this very slow lightning round. He asked what best dessert was, right?
Yeah.
Now he asked what's the best desert.
The best desert.
I'm gonna say the moji.
Can't believe we're expected to have an opinion on the best desert. I don't know. I haven't been to many deserts. I don't know. The deserts in Nevada seemed cool.
Let me get a list. Names of deserts.
I don't even know. I was at the Red Rock National Preserve, which is basically a desert. That was cool. That was actually really cool. We saw wild donkeys, which was neat.
Oh, I'm just stupid. So the first one said best desert, and then the second one said dessert. So I mean, he asked them both ways, but
whatever.
Yeah.
We're used to that.
There's the Sahara. There's the Sonoran. There's the Thar. The Gobi Desert. The Arabian Desert. Ooh. The Kalahari Desert. Oh, it might be a desert.
I like that name.
The Great Basin. Basin. I don't know. The Karakum Desert.
Wow.
Syrian Desert. There's Patagonia.
Patagonia. Okay.
There is now. Wait. What the fuck? Now Google is just naming places like Libya or the Arctic or Colorado.
Oh, if Colorado counts, Colorado is by far my favorite desert.
Tanami Desert, the Yuma Desert. I don't know any of these deserts. I'm just the Red Desert,
the Red Desert,
Antarctica, which I guess is a desert according to Google. Black Rock Desert, and the only reason why I'm picking that one as my favorite because there's a sign that says nude beach.
So
there's that. No, it's a Gobi Desert.
Gonna say though,
you know what, Kalahari, because it has giraffes.
That is a cool name. Yeah. Apparently, Red Desert's the name of a film. Interesting.
And also the the third installment of Red Dead Redemption. It's the Red Desert Redemption.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
Who cares?
Yeah. I think Nevada counts. Like most of Nevada's desert.
Yeah, there's a specific desert, but I think you're right.
Yeah, but I like that.
Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you for the questions.
Yeah.
Be sure to ask more questions of this amazingness.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get out of this.
No, you definitely don't. Let's take our final break of the day and do the final thoughts.
Sounds good.
And so ends our big dumb show. Austin, my friend, what are your final thoughts?
Well, Cory Booker, welcome to the presidential race. I won't be voting for you, but
President
wish
Booker,
you the best of luck. I think your views on privatizing education are pretty disgusting. So
it's from a state that kind of prides itself in its education system of New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's kind of shocking that that's even a thing.
Yeah.
And that's what he doesn't budge on.
Yeah.
Privatizing schools, if you haven't seen documentaries about this, it's a disgusting thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a disgusting thing. And
except for the one stupid documentary, but anyway.
Which one?
There's a documentary called Waiting for Superman where they advocate privatizing schools.
Oh,
yeah,
no. But don't watch that one.
No.
I've heard that one, though.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Other than that, I think it's going to be an interesting presidential race this year. I think we're going to get somewhere around 25 serious candidates. I think it was the latest tally.
25?
25, yeah. So anywhere from 18 to 25.
Like, that's bad.
A lot of people.
That's bad.
It's like they're going to have debates in a classroom. Everybody's sitting at a desk.
And then you have to raise their hand. It's like, hi, class, who knows the answer to why we shouldn't go to war? And Bernie's like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
Using his finger. Yeah. I know. What else?
Oh, okay. So I thought that story that AOC told about getting on the committee was pretty amazing. And I don't think anybody else could tell that story and have it be interesting. I don't know what the fuck Tom's doing.
I agree. I agree with you.
I just don't know.
And they won't either because it's a audio podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Now you've knocked me off my train of thought with your weird dancing. I don't know what this is. It's like modern dance, but not good. So it's like modern dance. No, I'm just kidding. Modern dance actually is pretty cool.
Modern dance, stupid. All
That's
right, go on.
Never mind. I'm not going to get into this argument, you Philistines. It's stupid. Oh my God. And of course, I was very surprised.
Just grinding on people.
That's not what I meant by modern dance. That's the way people dance. But I'm talking about actual dance.
I'm sorry, but people who dance modern dance are people too.
Yeah, but they're actual dancers. That's a difference. It's not,
Excuse me.
You're not watching people at a club coming.
People who twerk are dancers.
By the way, I think I mentioned that. It just really bothers me that that's the name of a bar in New York.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was funny. When you texted me that, I was out and I was laughing. I was like, why would anybody name a bar something with the word coming? And it's spelled, according to you at least.
Oh, it's spelled
the way it sounds.
The way it sounds, yeah. And not like somebody's coming over. It's not spelled that way.
No, somebody's coming, but not over.
Well, apparently it's part owned by Alan Cumming. That's why it's named that. That's what they say.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. So if his name was John Hitler, is it going to be Hitler's gay bar? No.
Tom,
why? Because that would be bad.
Tom, that wouldn't even be a popular bar anywhere outside of the South.
Outside of Washington. That's the bar that opened up in the White House.
Mike Pence is there a lot.
No, he's at the gay bar. He's at the gay bar Cummings or whatever it's called.
Club coming. That's what it's
I
called.
can see with like a bandana and like fake hair, like all rainbow hair, glitter all over the place. Oh, I can see that.
Well, at Club Coming, I'm curious to see what's all over the place.
Excuse me, may I have a glass of milk?
No.
You sure you want to order milk here?
No.
All right. Hey, Johnny.
I need some icing for my Cinnabon.
All right, we need to move on.
I know. This is all your fault because you keep knocking me off my train of thought.
Anyway, next thought.
I like the content of Bernie's bill. The name is true. I don't really care for it that much.
It's just like...
It's not very
I don't know.
snappy.
Like when it comes to you, right? You have good ideas, and you typically have good titles with things. Double Over, I think you may have missed, but
that wasn't mine. To be fair,
it wasn't. It was a group effort.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
And also, neither one of us thought of it. That was already an existing name.
Yeah. But like when it comes to Bernie, it's like his ideas are great, and then all of a sudden there's the title. It's like this is what his next bill is going to be called. This is the bill where I go after rich people like Jeff Bezos and the Waltons. That's the name of the bill.
Yeah.
Act number 482.
Yeah. I know he names his bills the same way Lifetime names their movies. Like Angry Ex-Husband. I wonder what this movie's about.
It's about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So, and I was impressed by De Blasio on Bill Maher's show, and I'm rarely impressed by anything on Bill Maher's show. So,
I'm impressed by a lot of things on Bill Maher's show. A lot.
Okay.
A lot. Okay. Just they're not always like wow, this is great. It's mostly like wow, that was said.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah.
Remember the house joke?
No. Yes, I do. And it's not about the House of Representatives.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got. What do you got, Tom?
Nothing.
Gotcha.
Ralph Northam. Northam.
Nor not going to be governor anymore.
Northam.
Yeah.
Whatever your name is, resign.
Yeah.
Get away. Move on. Virginia needs to move on from you. That's one thing. Yeah. Nothing. I'm working on getting guests. Steven will be coming back on to bring back the Not Politics report.
Exciting.
No, I lied. That's the wrong report. The Not America report. Kevin, we're working on something hopefully with Kevin.
Good.
To get him back on eventually. That'd be nice.
That would be very nice, yeah.
Maybe if he checks his Twitter.
Wow. Just calling him out right on there, huh?
Yeah, I need to because he's not checking his Twitter. I guess that's it, Austin. I got nothing else.
All right. Well, if that's all you got.
That's all I got. Pre-recorded Tom, how you doing, first of all? Again, and then we don't really ever get to ask you how you're doing. Hope you're doing well. How's the kids? Good? All right. Take us off. Take us off? Take us away. Take us away. No, that's not it either.
Wow.
Pre-recorded Tom, take it away.
So going to leave all that in.
Smooth sailing. No mistakes. Edited out perfectly. Great.
And
once again, thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find us on Spreaker.com/DumbleOverPod. We're also available on iTunes. Just look up DumbleOverPod. We are on all the social medias, starting with Twitter @DumbleOverPod, Facebook @DumbleOverPod, and of course, there's Instagram. And you guessed it, it's @DumbleOverPod. We are also on Patreon, so check out our Patreon at patreon.com/DumbleOverPod. And if you're interested in buying some merch with some special logos, you can check that out at tpublic.com/user/DumbleOverPod. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.